Tommaso, why is the music of Ennio Morricone so beautiful? What was his secret, if any?
The music of Ennio Morricone is beautiful. He is the person who actually, the author that got me into film soundtrack. He has a few secrets, which are not really secrets, as I was going to see in a moment, but he has a few secrets. The funny thing is actually he talk about those secrets in interviews. So if you listen to an interview with Morricone, he'll tell you, okay? The secrets are really easy. The first secret is that all of his music is essentially triads. Okay, major triads, minor triad, very occasionally diminished and augmented, but mostly major and minor triads. It's simple music. Ennio Morricone does not go for sophistication. He goes for solid melodies with solid chord progression. And that's what makes his music immediately understandable and emotional. Restricting yourself with those simple elements forces you to write good music, because if you write poor music with those simple elements, it will sound incredibly poor, okay? And you will notice and you will change it. While sometimes when you write music with super complex devices, okay, complex chords and stuff, you can write horrible music, but you don't notice at first because those chords by themselves sound so good. He forced himself to be as simple as possible and his music to be as simple as possible so that it was obviously good, because if it was too simple and bad, it would have been obvious if it was bad, okay? That would be the first secret. Which also means do not discount the simple thing in music theory. There is a lot to be learned about triads, okay? Even if they look simple, even if you think, yes, I know what my major triad is, there is a lot to be discovered, okay, about major triads and minor triads that allow you to write that kind of music. That would be the first secret. The second secret of Morricone that makes his music different than practically anybody else is that Morricone orchestrated his own music, okay? And he said this in an interview, okay, that many modern composers are composing the music, meaning that they're writing the melody and writing a sketch of the orchestra, but then they let the orchestrator decide exactly where every note goes and all this kind of thing. Ennio Morricone never did that. He wrote the melodies, he wrote the chord progressions, and then he wrote every single note of every instrument himself. And this allowed him to have an incredible experience on how all this works, especially when you have fewer instruments. So for a smaller orchestra, for a smaller ensemble, okay? He was both a composer and an orchestrator. I think in an interview they said that Beethoven did not need an orchestrator, Mozart did not need an orchestrator. I don't see why Ennio Morricone would need an orchestrator, okay, or something like that, which was very cocky from a certain point of view, but also very true, okay. By the way, modern composers for film use orchestrator, and sometimes at this point they have to use orchestrators because right now to compose a movie soundtrack, the times are so short. You need to come up with the musical ideas and arrange them and orchestrate them and record them in 6 to 8 weeks. The times are super short, and the only way to complete a full soundtrack and have it recorded in such a short time is to have more people working on the same project. One writes the music, the melodies, one orchestrates. Otherwise, a single person will not be able to go through all that amount of work in such a short amount of time. So this may not be an option anymore, maybe an option only for some specific projects, okay? Regardless, what Morricone was doing was he was doing everything by himself. Of course, he had a circle of friends, he has second opinion and all this kind of thing. Doesn't mean he had to work in isolation forever. But he orchestrated his own music, and that gave him a completely different perspective than other composers. Those two elements are at least a big part of what made Morricone sound so good. The other part, if you want, is the kind of culture he was immersed in. There is a long tradition of melodic composers in Italy, for instance, and he was totally immersed in this tradition. And if you want to see the step before Morricone, I suggest you guys listen to anything by Nino Rota. The guy wrote some of the most absolutely wonderful melodies ever written, and all for movies too.